back for the Fruit of the Womb Part 2. I am getting ready to invite my sister Sarah. Um, Technical difficulties. There you are.
Man, it was getting to the good
I
part.
know. Yeah, I don't know. I
I was going to ask you real quick before I finish, because I probably have to go take care of my littles here in a sec.
okay.
But what do you think about me finishing on another, like at another time?
Yeah, that's fine. 'Cause I think this is this is gonna end up being a series. I didn't plan for it anyway, so
Yeah.
it's um so what we'll do is um we can just like after you finish your story and anything else you want to add before you get off,
hmm
uh, we'll just plan for whenever the next portion is because I know the abortion that needs its own like it needs more attention to it. Um, so I think whatever else you have um for that next one, it would just be, you continuing on there and then we'll just go into like that abortion segment and then we'll
Well,
probably Mhm.
let me tell you what I had, and then you can use it or not. Like, seriously, up to you. But I was going to just talk about like the birthing process and how that connects spiritually, just the different, as the baby's developing and that whole process of pregnancy, and then sort of connections with delivery. And then after that, just talking about the relationship post delivery and kind of going into that purification thing. So
Oh yes,
the
that's gonna be its own then. So abortion
yeah,
one,
I mean it is. That's like while I was talking, I'm like, man, this is going to open up a whole nother floodgate if I
yeah,
start on the whole, conception, development, 3 trimesters. There is so
yeah,
much there, and
yeah,
it's really good. So
I am with that.
up
So
to you if you want to do, yeah, whenever you want to plug that in. So okay, so I'll wrap up. I'll finish my story. So let's see. I was saying that I fasted every week for a year. But then I like literally laid on my face and kind of had a tantrum, like a child, like, I'm not getting what I want. And then it was like submitting and saying, you know what? It's not about what I want. I'm submitting to your will, and I have faith. I have faith that if you want me to have more children, I'll have more children. If you want me to not have more children, I am okay with that. And so I gave away my things, and I just like felt gratitude for the experience to come to know him through that whole process of struggle and sadness and sorrow and wondering. I pressed into him with all my heart. I was crying out to him, and I was reading his word. I wanted to know what he had to say. And that, like, if I never had another child, it, it that experience alone was enough for me. I was content because I felt like I know him, and like you were saying, I trust him.
mm,
And if this is the end of my childbearing journey, I accept it, and I'm gonna serve you, is what I said. I'm gonna serve you, whatever capacity. What do you want me to do? And then he doubled my quiver. He gave me 3 more. So I had a dream that I was going to have another child. And it was one of those dreams that was like, it almost felt like I was awake. But I saw this little girl, and I saw her face in detail. And that doesn't always happen. Usually dreams, like,
mhm.
things are blurry. But I saw her face in detail after I had given away all my baby things. Nothing had been restored to my health. There was no sign of my hormones regulating. I was not taking herbs. I was
Mm,
not taking medicine, because we can get hung up on the holistic thing. We can get hung up on, I mean, there are good things we can take into our body to regulate our hormones to help restore health. But I I had no knowledge of that. I actually went to nursing school. So I
Mm.
I was working as a nurse at the time in the hospital. No knowledge of anything that actually causes healing. It's just, I was familiar with drugs that you can manipulate things, but never like actual healing. And the scriptures tell us that it's his word that is
Mm.
heals us. So I had no access to doctors. I had no access to, anything fancy that could heal my body. And he was proving to me that it was him that supernaturally healed my womb. So I had this dream about this little girl. I had faith in it. I didn't know if that meant like in the millennial reign. I didn't know if that meant like, what that meant, or
Mm.
if it was just some kind of metaphorical promise for eternities or something. But I saw her there with my husband and all my children, and then I had another dream where an angel showed me. It was almost like on a screen, and showed me this baby in my womb. And I said to this person, "Is this a girl or a boy?" And they said, "It's a girl." So I had two witnesses. This was going to be a girl.
Wow.
And then I was going to work. So I was working in radiology at the time. So you're exposed to that radiation. And the spirit said to me, "Go get a pregnancy test before work." And I was like, uh, that's crazy. And my husband's going to kill me for spending money on this because, like I said, things were so tight.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I do work with radiation. And I had been like, our whole family got a stomach bug. So I'd been thrown up, but mine was like lasting. So I'm like, well, I have been nauseous. So I went into the emergency room. They did a pregnancy test and she came in and she's like, well, you are pregnant. And I just started sobbing because I knew that I had been supernaturally healed.
Wow.
Most High healed me, and I was pregnant without any signs before that things were going to start being normal. It was just like boom, I was pregnant. And I just was like, wow, her what do you want me to name her? I wanted him to name her.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up naming her Grace after I had a dream about that. And then I was like, this is my miracle child. I am like content for life. And I also had gone on this journey with the contraceptive thing. And I said, well, I am really feeling bad personally about taking these oral contraceptives. I was feeling like some guilt over that because I recognized it had disrupted things in my body. And so I decided I was not going to do that. And I just put it in his hands. I'm like, this is a miracle child. I'm happy for life. Probably that was just a crazy random thing. But then I got pregnant again after I weaned her. And then after that one, like I said at the beginning, I had a dream that I would have a sixth child and that would be my last one. And then I had her and I knew it was done. So like, I just spent so much time including him into that process that I know for sure it was him that intervened in
Mm-hmm.
my life and provided that blessing for me, and without anything except him. Just there was no medicine, like anything physical. So I felt like I was I don't know, I'm like, you blessed me twofold because I was willing to submit to your will.
Mm.
And I want to share that testimony to give other people like just a boost of faith. Like it was such an impossible situation for me, and yet he did it. And so I don't doubt like he can do it. There's no doubt that he can do that. Um,
Did you have any pressure from like family during that time, or like,
to have a baby,
or
it was
or
like,
not just to have a baby, but like because you were going through like the financial issues and
yes. Oh
things
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
sure it wasn't like, super easy, like, in the moment, but just was there like, pressure just there not to have one,
Yes,
and then, you know,
actually, yes. In fact, I had people telling me, you aren't even able to like really provide for yourself. How dare you try to have more
mm,
children? But I was at that point, I was seeing that the Most High was providing for me
mm,
supernaturally too. So
Hmm.
like some crazy thing. Like I went to the grocery store to buy a turkey for Thanksgiving because that's what I was, doing at the time. And so I bought this turkey and I go to checkout and it was going to be like our maximum grocery budget for the month. And they said, I was like, oh, well, this is actually, not the sale price. And they're like, oh, we mismarked it. So that means you get the turkey free. So like crazy things like that were happening
Yep.
to me where I was like, he's providing for me. He can provide for me. He can provide for my children. I am telling you, when I had all those children, I always had enough to provide for all of my children. Like we have never been hungry. We made our way, like at the same time he reversed my circumstances with my health and my fertility. He reversed our financial circumstances too. They both happened at the same time. And I was really exercising faith, like I said, in these blessings
Hmm.
versus the cursings. I was having faith in him as my provider. And I knew that he could provide, and he has. Like I've never had to worry about that since then. And so back to answer your question, yes, there were people in my family saying, like, will you just, like your life's a mess, and what are you doing wrong, and why are you trying to have children right now? And just um, people like you shouldn't have children is what I was getting from some people, and I didn't care what they were saying because I was getting communication
Hmm.
from the Most High, and I'm like, I'm trusting what He's telling me, and it was scary. Like it's just so scary when you're going through that. And so I'm on the other side of it now, and I'm looking back and I'm seeing, okay, I can see what contributed to the issue with my fertility. I can see that, like Liz brought that up earlier, taking the oral contraceptives, hormone disruptors in foods. It's not just women that are having hormone disruption issues, it's men too. Men that are having an issue with the sperm count.
Hmm.
Hygiene and cleaning products are directly linked to hormones. So hormones aren't just, this will be the last thing I say. Hormones aren't just your reproductive hormones. It's everything that is regulating your organs, like the thyroid and the kidneys, and all of that's coming from your brain. And like I said before, it's a biofeedback system. So if you start taking thyroid medicine, then you can actually have your thyroid start shrinking. And I'm not going to go into all that because everyone's has a different situation. But when you're superficially manipulating hormones in the body,
Hmm.
everything is affected. Everything gets out of sync. Even there's hormones to regulate your immune system. So it's like a cascade
Hmm.
effect of, yes, shampoos, toothpaste, lotions, laundry detergent, like candles, you name it. All those things with scents, they can disrupt hormones, and then you have stress in the body, and so your cortisol goes up, and that makes your inflammation goes up, which invites bad, like bacteria into your body. Like this isn't just your reproductive system, it's your whole body.
Yeah.
And all of this is related to mental health. So it makes you susceptible to demons, really. It
Yeah.
does. Being
Wow.
like straight up. So anyways, I didn't know any of that going through this. Because I just had no knowledge of it.
Hmm.
But if you are wanting something that you can do, that's like a really basic thing, is to take a look at what you're consuming, what you're putting into your temple. It's we need to be more picky about what's going in,
Hmm.
because you know we haven't touched on this yet, but how the moon cycle is very similar to the female ovulation cycle.
Absolutely.
And anciently, everybody was watching that cycle and very in tune with it and very in sync with it.
Hmm.
But women, we are not educated on that, and we aren't really. I mean, some people try to to be in sync or like try to pay attention to what's going on with their cycle and everything. But a lot of women are completely oblivious to it and aren't taught how to monitor that. And you know, there's some very, I think if any women are here listening, if you start monitoring your ovulation cycle, you're going to notice, for instance, if you change your diet to be more healthy, you will probably notice some big changes happening in your cycle for the good if you're making a good change. There are lots of things that make that messed up. And then, you know, that goes back to the whole contraceptive thing. I think it's easier to have a picture of your, um, you know, conception and everything when you're very in tune with what's going on in your ovulation cycle. But we aren't in touch with that. It's being detached from the earth, being detached from nature, and we're detached from our bodies too. So
Wow.
that's, of course, the perfect situation that the enemy wants us to be in. He
Mm.
doesn't want us to understand the creator through looking at the creation, how he works
Exactly.
with the creation. So,
Okay.
so anyways,
Uh,
that's what I have.
no, that
I'll be
was
done.
yeah, that was that's truly amazing. I wanted to connect a few things before we pretty much end. Jonah chapter 2, it says, Jonah prayed to the Most High from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Most High out of my distress, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the flood surrounded me. All your waves and your billows passed over me. So then at the end, verse 8, he says, those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. But your passion. Verse 9, it says, but I with the voice of thanksgiving will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will pay. Salvation belongs to the Mashiach. So in the Jonah study, this is where I was saying the validity of Yahusha, right? So a lot of people like this whole names war is just so it's so immature. But outside of that, as far as Yeshua, the Yahusha, um, Jonah chapter 2 literally gives credence and gives an ode to crying out to the Savior. So that's what who Yahusha means, because you'll see easily. You can go look on Google and you'll say people will put Shua to cry out. That's what it means. So Yasha, it means Savior. They're both connected. So same thing. If someone is crying out, you're literally saying in the belly of a big old fish, and connecting it back to your story. He like Jonah is he literally lowers himself fully, and he said it's your will, because you remember in the Jonah story he didn't want to go about his will. He was still considered a Hebrew because everybody knew on that boat, you know, that who he was once they found out what was going on, you know. So going back to your story, like doctors saying you're infertile and all these little different things, and then it's like you like, okay, whatever your will is, I will like I'm bowing down. I am worshiping. I'm giving you my all. So if whatever you want is what you want, and how you're gonna bless is what you're gonna bless.
Mhm.
And you stood fast on that, and that's what Jonah did. He was delivered out of it. And so, interestingly enough, you do see how the story develops, where he starts kind of flipping a little bit. He's not still steadfast in the Most High's mercy. And so, interestingly enough, like you're talking about, you know, it's like for us, it's like we tend to forget these stories, forget these things. And so it's cool to really have, like, especially children, and you see something like that. It's like a reminder. It's always going to be a reminder of what you went through, of what you, of knowing that the Most High is always there. Those smiles, even the bad times, like, you know, it's just things for a reminder. So it's like, again, people will limit the Most High. They always want to put him in a box and say, well, He's only a creator. What about his creation? What about the things that are all a part of it? You spoke about the moon, the cycles of the moon, connected to the women's body. We talked about the men having life in their loins and how it connects to the womb as well. It's so many different aspects of the fruits of the womb that the Most High has blessed. And why would we, as finite people, as dust, sit there and think we should put a cap on the Most High, on the cap
Yeah.
we can do, and not try to find out more understanding? We don't have it all. We have to gain more. So it's like just listening to that story, like I said, it's gonna bless, it's gonna bless multiple people, because it's not just about conception and the womb. It's so much more about the totality of it all. And then so as we're moving towards this, this is what the next studies, not just in this series, the studies that are coming for the more wisdom and more understanding, it's all about the eighth day, right? It's all about him coming, the Messiah coming to complete us. We are not complete. So he needs to take us out of the womb, the one
Mhm.
who is remnant, who he saved, and he's going to fully complete us. And he's still going to be here for 1,000 years to fully make sure that whole cycle is finished.
Yes.
So, I mean, obviously on one hand, even this community, like a lot of people who think they know a bunch of things, it's like we don't know enough, and
Yeah.
we have to rinse and repeat, just like literally the ovulation cycle, rinse and repeat,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
fruits of the womb, in order for it to be fresh, in order for it to be that next cycle to come, it's a rinse and repeat process, and that's who we are. He does not want a bride that is just that hasn't gone through any refinement process,
Yes. And I
right?
think
So,
he wants us to go deeper with him, you know, get a taste of it, and then he wants to keep coming. Like whenever we talk about it next with the waves of
mm,
birth, with labor,
oh my gosh.
they come, but it's like gentle waves at first, but the uterus is building strength. The uterus is building muscles. So it
Wow.
comes with more frequency, more intensity. So it doesn't matter what our Sheol looks like, but all of us are learning the same lessons through different trials where he knows where our weaknesses are. He knows where our heart needs refinement, and he takes us there. So for some women, it's this issue with fertility. With other, everybody has their own thing, but we learn the
Mm,
same when he takes us there. But it is it is powerful for us women who understand this thing with
wow.
our own bodies, the cycle. So powerful.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to the whenever that comes. Gotta balance it out with all the with other studies whenever it's supposed to be there. But
Yeah.
I'm super happy this came out, because like I said, literally I contacted you 2 days ago,
I know.
and I was like, Sarah, because I already knew, Most High put you in my spirit to say, like, yes, like the sister, like you have to speak with her. And I talked to my wife about you a lot. And I always be like, Sarah, she has 6 children. So if I'm asking her a question on how to help you, you better listen, because it's like who better to ask. So I'm very blessed to have you as my sister, to be able to share everything. And like I said, for the next portion of the series, we'll talk about that, everything that you discussed, and we'll figure out the details on that one. And then this is just, it's all connected, because it's crazy, the all the studies, everything is just so connected. It's so
Yeah.
perfect, and I'm just super thankful, because I needed this study as well, because I wasn't ready for the other one. So it's just so perfect. So I thank you, sister, for it.
Thank
um,
you for inviting me. I mean, whatever I conveyed isn't nearly what Abba conveyed to me through the
mm,
process of literally just yesterday, him pouring down all this goodness on me. And I'm like, whoa, I feel like I've studied this topic a lot, but man, it's deeper this time.
yeah.
So thank you for the
Um,
opportunity. I've been blessed.
absolutely. I'll go ahead and pray out,
Okay.
and then you guys can, who's watching today, thank you guys for joining. And those who are watching later, I will save this obviously on IG, and then I'll upload it to YouTube, so it'll be there. But thank you guys for those who were commenting, helping us with the scriptures, noting them there. When you rewatch on IG, it doesn't show you the comments, so
Yeah.
that's the one cool thing about joining the live. But I still appreciate you guys, and let's go ahead and pray. Dear Abba, we just thank you just for this awesome study. Thank you just for all the information and knowledge and the counsel and the power that you're giving us in your spirit to be able to walk closer to you and in you and in your path, as we are like children. We're like children in the womb that you are grooming us. You're grooming us, and you're constantly getting us into the right moments, and creating in us a new heart and the right spirit. It's just so much, Abba, that we can't truly grasp it all, because it's our cup is overflowing. And we just thank you so much for that our spirit is able to just speak on these things that you have in the now and what's coming for us. For those who truly walk in your ways, we ask that this study also continues to not only bless others, but any other studies and anything that we post, anything that we are all sharing, that is always edifying to each other, that we're growing and we're walking in the right paths that actually get us closer to our salvation in you, and that you continue to pour out your wisdom onto us and to this generation that's been spoken of by Enoch and many others in Scripture. We just ask that keep us from uh, going on the outside or the wrong side, and just keeping us in Abraham's bosom, that we may walk truly in your ways and understand what that is, and know that it's a heart issue, it's a mind issue, it's a body issue, that we must commit all these things, love you with all our heart, all our soul, and all our mind, in the spirit and in truth, to walk after you. Um, and just truly understand that, and just we ask for forgiveness. Anything that we've already fell short on, whether it was today or in the past, that you create in us a clean heart and renew in us a right spirit right now, Abba, for those who are truly seeking that, and that you just continue to love us and give us the compassion that you've already been giving us, to continue to find more understanding and do the works that you have designed for us to do. And we just give you all the praise, glory, and honor in the name of your Son, Messiah Yasha, Messiah Yahusha. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right, you guys, appreciate you. I will save this. I will talk to you later, Sarah. You
Okay.
enjoy your kids. I got to go to my kids and
Yep.
wife.
They're all waiting for me.
Yep. All right, I'll
Okay,
see
we'll
you.
see you.